my name is Attorney Walter, if not the third. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, and a lot of you guys rely on me to show you specifically what's in the statute or the bill, and that's Shadow having a disagreement with Sweetie. As a result of that, we're going to be going through bullet point number 2 from the new Social Security-based Supplemental Security Income Restoration Act. Now, this is for SSI people. If you want to see the one for SSDI people, you want to go look at the Social Security 2100 Act. We'll go through that. That one's really big, though, and that's going to take some time to go through all the details related to it. All right, so with that said, and keep in mind, tomorrow, and I don't know what video, what day this video will come out, but tomorrow, spaceconstitution.com is going live. So the point is, I can't do everything, blah, blah, blah. But we shall do this. All right. Specifically, Brown leads senators in introducing historic legislation to update long-neglected Social Security program to ensure older adults and people with disabilities are no longer trapped in poverty. That's a good summary statement. Release of article, June 16, 2021, from Sherrod Brown. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce his first name. That's one of the things I need to learn. I need to learn the first name and how to pronounce them for all the different senators that are out there. There's way too many House reps, but bottom line is all the senators at least. This is a gentleman who March 6, 2014 came out with the initial version of it, and then basically it evolved. It was kind of the same thing, October 30th, 2019, but that was shot down during that period of time. So we've got Obama shooting it down, and not directly, but, as part of that whole Congress and that, president situation. And then we got Trump shooting it down. I think we can get Biden to push this one through. I'm hoping that we can. I fully support this gentleman. If you're wondering who he is, he's this guy right here. Boop, right there. That's the guy. Really good guy. I think there's more things we can put into it, but I'd be very happy with just passing this. Now, with that said, let's go into bullet point number 2. Update and index the assets individuals or couples may have up to $10,000 and $20,000 respectively, and the current limit of $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a couple has not been updated since 1989. Now, if you read that, you're not really sure what it means. So I'm going to tell you very simply. You have 2 categories of interests, right? You've got category 1, a single disabled person. Category 2, 2 disabled people who are snuggling and married and happy and living the dream. Maybe they're not. Who knows? But they are married. That's the element. Maybe they're snuggling. We don't know yet. Anyways, the point is this. The original levels for one disabled person on SSI was $2,000. For 2 married people, remember that's a state-based thing, not a federal thing. Marriage is a state-based question. I'll go into a video on that. Because I had a real whopper of a claim that never ended happily, and nobody's happy. The government's not happy with it. The claimant's not happy with it. The attorney's not happy with it, which is me. Nobody was happy with the outcome of that claim. I'll go into that trick situation so you don't fall into it. The point is this. So for one individual, they had a resource limit up to $2,000. For a couple married on SSI, $3,000. They want to raise it to $10,000 and $20,000. So $2,000, $3,000, up to $10,000, $20,000. Still may not be enough. I don't think $15,000 and maybe $30,000 is out of the question. But nonetheless, like I said, I'd be happy with this start. All right, let's talk about, and I brought out this cute little, I put it somewhere. Did I put it somewhere? Did I already grab it? I put it somewhere. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. I guess I did. No, it's right here. Hold on. All right. So I printed out the really adorable Social Security website's explanation as to resource limits, which is their way of basically explaining why you're unhappy. Supplemental Security Income, SSI, resources. What are resources? Resources are things you own, such as cash, bank accounts, stocks, U.S. saving bonds, land, life insurance, personal property, vehicles, anything else you own which could be changed to cash and used for food or shelter, and deemed resources. Deemed resources just means that they're looking at other people in your life that are connected to you in some way legally, and basically they can go ahead and say, well, that person has those assets and you should be able to use those assets. What are deemed resources? Sometimes we deem a portion of the resources of a spouse, parent spouse, sponsor of an alien, or sponsor spouse as belonging to the person who applies for SSI. Seems unfair, right? Seems like we shouldn't look at the assets of another person tied to that person and say that you are now reliant on that person and that person's assets, therefore we are going to deny you SSI benefits. Seems unfair, because it is. Anyways, let's keep rolling. We call this process the deeming of resources. Yeah. If a child under age 18 lives with one parent, 2,000 of the parent's total countable resources does not count. If the child lives with two parents, 3,000 does not count. We count amounts over the parent's limits as part of the child's $2,000 resource limit. So what they're saying, just so you guys understand, just to solidify it, is that you have to have a poor parent for a disabled child to get SSI benefits, or two poor parents for a disabled child to get SSI benefits that only have the resource, like stuff. They only have stuff capable of being turned into cash, totaling the full amount of $3,000. Everything above that is countable. Why are resources important in the SSI program? Well, they can get you kicked off of it. That's why. The value of your resources is one of the factors that determines whether you are eligible for SSI benefits. However, not all resources count for SSI. If the value of your resources that we count is over the allowable limit at the beginning of the month, you cannot receive SSI for that month. And if you have enough of them, they'll kick you off. That's true. Or you'll get an overpayment, and they'll do a full review by a CDR to see, yada yada, if you should still be on it. If you decide to sell the excess resources for what they are worth, you may receive SSI beginning the month after you sell the excess resources. You may even be able to receive benefits while you try to sell the excess resources in certain situations. Well, all right, I'll do a video. I'll click and print and explain that whole process to you. Here, we'll do that one too. We'll do that here. Command P, print. All right. That's Shadow and Sweetie discovering who's going to be eating the biscuit, even though there's like 6 of them over there. What is the resource limit? Yep. The limit for countable, you see, you have to understand, Shadow doesn't take crap from Sweetie. And Sweetie's like 2.5 to 3 of Shadow's. Shadow ultimately will lose, but he'll run her to the desk where we're recording with the cookie, and then he'll basically try to get Sweetie to feel like, she can't have that cookie because I'm blocking. That's the game that's being played right now. You can hear the clicking of their toenails on the, yeah. What is the resource limit? The limit for countable resources is 2,000 for an individual and 3,000 for a couple. Great. Hopefully it will soon be 10,000 and 20,000. Would be better if it was 15 and 30. What resources do not count for SSI? For SSI, we do not count the home you live in and the land it is on. So you could live in the Taj Mahal. Cool. Except without all the nice stuff in it that you'd have to sell. One vehicle, regardless of value, if you are a member of your household and use it for transportation. So you could have a Rolls Royce. You could do that and still be in this. But when you open the door and it has the little thing that pops out and you can pull the thing that allows you to have an umbrella, that umbrella, you got to sell it. Because it's probably expensive because it's a Rolls Royce umbrella. All right, let's keep going. For SSI, we do not count blah, blah, blah. Household goods and personal effects, your wedding and engagement rings. Life insurance policies with a combined face value of $1,500 or less. Do they even sell them that small? I don't think they sell them that small. I'm pretty sure they don't even sell them that small. Burial spaces for you or your immediate... maybe they do. I don't know. I've just never seen, usually they're like 50 grand up, Burial spaces for you or your immediate family. Yeah, that would be weird if the government got involved in your burial space. Burial funds for you and your spouse, each valued at $1,500 or less. See the SSI spotlight on burial funds. This is straight from the Understanding SSI Resources, ssa.gov/SSI/text-resources-USSI.htm. Property you or your spouse use in a trade or business or on your job if you work for someone else. That's a dicey one. I'll go into that one. I'll print out that one. If you are disabled or blind, money or property you have set aside under a plan to achieve self-support. That's a past plan. I need to do a video on that. I've never done a video on that. I don't know why. Up to $100,000 of funds in an Achieving a Better Life Experience ABLE account established through a state ABLE account program. I need to do a video on that too. I don't know why I never did the programs. I don't know, whatever, We'll do them. What are installments? When an individual is eligible for past due SSI benefits, Social Security must first reimburse the state if you received any monetary interim assistance while you were waiting for your SSI decision. So, people have to be paid back that are part of different programs, yada, yada. If the remaining past due, don't forget, LTD benefits get paid back too. If the remaining past due benefits are large, we must pay them in installments. The installment payments are made in no more than 3 payments. All right, so this is about installment stuff. All right, well, let's read this part too. What if you want to sell a resource? You guys probably want to know about that. If you are trying to sell real property or other resources that put you over the resource limit, you may be able to get SSI while you are trying to sell them. When you sell the resource, you must pay back the SSI benefits you received for the period in which you were trying to sell the property or other resource. We call these conditional benefits. You must sign the agreement to sell property form, and we must accept that agreement before conditional payments can begin. You can get the form from your local Social Security office. So there's a process when you're selling property that would be above, if you're selling like 1 foot by 1 foot, don't worry about it. But if you're selling like, a property that's worth something, which pretty much is any property, then the bottom line is you have to fill out a form and go through the process. You might have to be eligible for certain months and yada, yada. We'll go through that. There's also unfair stuff in that. I get it. I understand. But what we're focusing on right now is resources. Now, a lot of you guys don't know what resources are. There's income. I'm working and I'm doing stuff and I've earned income. Cool. You pay taxes on it. Yay. And then boop, over here you have what's called resources. Resources are like, assets that you've held on to for more than 1 month. So the first month you work and you earn money, and that's income, and then the second month that you have a thing, it becomes a resource in the form of an asset. Okay? So don't think of resources and assets as as income. Just don't think of them as income. Think of them as like the stuff that you have. It could even be cash. It could be cash. But it would be a month old cash. All right? So think of it that way. That way, basically, you understand specifically what they're saying. You can have up to $2,000 of that under the current program. 1989, folks. 1989. But with this Supplemental Security Income Restoration Act, you can have up to $10,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does $10,000 really allow me to have? Not much, but it's a start, and it's a rolling thing in the right direction. We are, as a country, slowly starting to realize that the American people have been squeezed so much that they just don't have the rights and freedoms that they should have. By and through that, hopefully this will get more people the help that they need, so that unfortunately SSI-related individuals don't have to do criminal acts to be able to afford basic amenities, which, by the way, they do a lot of that. A lot of people that I know on SSI that do criminal acts, which is a smaller amount of people on SSI, but I know a lot of people on these programs, obviously, because I've represented a lot. Quite a few of them will steal from stores that they know they can get away with. It's usually food-related stuff, because a lot of their food stamps are taken away when they get SSI. Weird, right? Why would you do that? I don't know. Nobody really does. It's just government saving money because they got to spend it on pet projects. Hey, whatever. Anyways, guys, governments that are in place for the people. Anyways, guys, remember 4th of July, which this video may be released after that. SpaceConstitution.com is going to be released. It's the first open source universal constitution where all you got to do is go to the website. You can click the anonymous button and submit ideas that you have for what should be laws, freedoms, rights, stuff like that. And then myself and my other attorney friends will go ahead and take those, put them into constitutions so that we can use those constitutions for future space colonies, space stations, and current countries. Have an absolutely wonderful day. My name is Attorney Walter Knott. I'll catch you a little bit later, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.